Hi, it's Ashley from AB Sound Advice. Today we are doing a product preview on the Universal ISC 690s from Focal. Now, Focal, as I've mentioned, I've been in the audio business for 39 years, and when Focal came out, and that was a new brand for me, it came in, I think it's been around for just over 10 years now in our part of the world, and definitely different. I mean, in the time that I've had the flex components, and there's quite a few models, and I did the home and the car audio in Focal, so I have a lot of experience in audio. And Focal was a brand that came across my door one day, and I looked into it, and we got it in, and I even had one of my company cars was decked out with all the Focal flex speakers front and rear. I had Focal all the way through the vehicle, so I just thought I'd cover that off. So I've only really got this last set left that I could pull apart and have a look at. I've just gone down and seen what was left in my box of tricks and products that are laying around. Well, I had a pair of these, and I just thought I'd cover off the Focal side of it, because as you can imagine, I want to make sure that you guys are aware of the brands that I haven't played with, and you might want my opinion of what I feel or don't feel about the brand. So I think I'll cover off that I had the brand for quite a number of years in the home and car, and this here is a universal one, so it's a 6x9 two-way, sort of 80 RMS, 160 max, so it's a shallow type factory fit, or it could be put on a rear parcel tray. So I'm also going to cover off in this preview too, of course, that they've got there's a whole range of Focal products. There's obviously the Flex series and all that different type of stuff. Now, yes, it is a high fidelity brand. Yes, it's focused around hi-fi sound and all that sort of thing. And as you know, we've talked about Infinity, we've had the JBL, we've gone through DLS and Excelsis. There's all these different brands. And when Focal came to me, again, it was a very new brand, so I didn't have a lot of experience with it, and obviously, I was here at the time when it first came out and got introduced to the market, so I went through the process with that. And for me, having it in my vehicle for a while, it wasn't my thing. So that doesn't mean to say it won't be for you, but I just want to cover off that from my perspective, I found the top end just to be a little bit shrill. It was just a little bit, and the vocals just weren't quite 100% clean. But then I thought to myself, I'll give it a bit of time, because when new brands come out, it takes a long time to critique and get their sound that they're looking for, and get it to a point where people can go, okay, wow, that's awesome. So don't in any way feel that I'm making any slander against the brand. I'm just saying, from my perspective, I felt that for me, the tweeters in the mid area, I found just a little bit too bright, or a little bit too harsh for my ears. So I wanted to cover that off, because some people may go, wow, I absolutely love Focal, it's fantastic, I enjoy it. And other people will be like me, they're hearing what I'm saying, go, yes, Ashley, we've experienced the same thing. So I just wanted to cover off, because out of all the brands that you've seen me do, this is one of the more sort of the newer brands. Most of the brands you've seen me doing reviews on are sort of 20, 30, 40 years old, been around a long time. And again, I'm talking about the New Zealand, Australian market. So in the other parts of the world, who knows how much longer they've been around, I'm not sure. But I guess for our market, I've always found in my career in Australia and New Zealand, because I've worked in both countries, the sound that has always been very successful has been that sort of attention to detail, the very warm, very much like the Boston acoustic days and I really haven't had a lot to play with in the Boston car stuff, because it's really hard to find the gear. But I know this is sort of veering away from being solely about Focal, but it's just, I want to just give you an idea that around the brand, that hey, this model here I've heard is too. I mean, some of the two ways and that I have been quite acceptable, but I just thought I'd cover it off in this one preview rather than doing a preview across the range. It was just a product that in the end I stopped selling it. So and it was a product that I steered away from. So I just want to, it's very rare that I ever do this, and nor will you probably see it again. There are some things that you just can't get to work, and I guess for me this didn't have what I was looking for. It wasn't providing the sound that I was wanting. So Focal, as I said, again, is just again my personal opinion. So if you've got Focal and you're enjoying it, fantastic. Continue to do so. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with the brand. It's just this is the first time where I ended up getting a sound that was just, for whatever reason, it just wasn't working for me. So some people are going to understand that. Other people are going to say, hey, that was pretty harsh or whatever. But as I said, I have had multiple models right through to the flaxes, the high-end stuff, the low-end stuff, the mid-range stuff. And to be honest with the ICS 690s that we're looking at right now, not a bad sound. Again, that'd be as good as most of the other car audio brands and hi-fi brands. Very nice sound. Found it very musical, enjoyable. But I think before you make your final call, when you're playing in this area where you're starting to get into to audio, what I would call nearly audiophile, hi-fi type sounds, there are quite a few options in that area. So before you make the final call, have a listen, compare with other brands and other models, and you might be just surprised before you make the final call. So getting back to this, these 6x9s, I have again done quite a few of the ISC series. They come in a 6-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, these 6x9s, and they're really quite a nice sound. So this particular lineup, not a bad unit. I just thought the reason I've gone a bit longer on here is that I'm only going to be doing this one model, and I just wanted to cover off some of the other things. So you might go, oh, he's only done the 6x9s, he hasn't done this, he hasn't done that. And I can tell you from experience, from all of those models, I can give you my synopsis of each thing, because I've got enough experience to do so. But I just think it's best left to say, hey, good brand, nice sound, just be aware that just at this level, you want to be comparing it with other ones before you make the final call. So you don't want to end up getting, I've done this in the past with Infinity, for example. I put some perfects in, and I think you need to be careful when you call something perfect, because in my mind, they weren't quite perfect. So you can see where I'm heading. So again, I'm trying not to get too off track with what we're doing here, but I wanted to cover off just the reasons. You might just think, well, why has he only done the one pair? Why has he, not followed it through? But I just wanted to be honest with you, is that this particular brand, for my ears, as I said, in the ICS range, fantastic. As we went up the levels, I feel there was just so many other options out there with just a bit more smoother and a bit more warmer. And I guess I'm an old Boston boy, so anyone who's in Boston acoustic sound, you'll understand why I'm saying that, because you've got a comparison point. So if you haven't had much to do with Boston, because as I said, they haven't been around for a while, that will be a little harder to understand. But again, please, if you're looking at this type of product, there's nothing wrong with Focal. It's got a unique sound, and when you get to those things that have a unique sound, it's going to be a love or hate relationship, and I think that's what I'm trying to say in a short way. But again, if you'd like more information about the Focal products, you can go to focal.com.au or focal.com for your if you're looking for that sort of product. And again, I hope you've enjoyed today's product preview. And again, I've given you a bit of a synopsis on the Focal brand. I hope you have made sense of what I'm trying to get across to you guys. And again, thank you for tuning into AB Sound Advice.